Hey guys, welcome to another training session. Um, in this one we're going to look at a request we get quite often. How can we add into our optimization file a new product category or campaign that we haven't run in the past, but we want to at least have some educated, informed opinion on how it will produce ROI. So that we can do by adding additional data into the input file and making educated proxies from our coefficients. So here I'll take an example input file. And so if you go over to the Hyperparameters tab, in the Hyperparameters tab is really the comprehensive range of product lines, equities, and campaigns and channels that we have modeled and we have ROI estimates for. And so many of you, get requests from the clients or planners for perhaps new launches or things that are not contained within this Hyperparameters tab. So for example, if you can see at the moment for in France and Listerine, we only have one single media equity, and that's Oral Care mouthwash. So perhaps there is a new launch of a new product line. I don't know. We could have Oral Care. Let's call it Oral Hygiene. So how would we go about including this new product category into our optimization file? Well, the short answer is we need to make sure that we add data across the input file so that every table that has a media equity column gets updated with new data for this new equity that we're introducing. So let's go ahead and just assume that the rest of the classifications match Oral Care mouthwash. So it's perhaps the same campaign, and let's just say they're only running TV at this stage. So we're just going to assume that it runs for TV, but let's just also assume that it hits all the same product segments as we have. So what I'm just going to do is copy all of Oral Care mouthwashes classifications, but then I'm going to just go ahead and create a new Oral Hygiene media equity. I hope I've spelled that correctly. Okay, so implicitly I'm making the assumption here that Oral Hygiene similarly maps has the same effect across the sales segments that we'd expect as Oral Care. Another part that is really up to the user and the analytic planner is what sort of proxy coefficients make the most sense. So at the moment I'm just going to go ahead and copy over those coefficients from Oral Care. But you should really make sure when you're choosing proxy equity to use that you're looking at metrics such as the average spend across that equity, a representative sales figure, so that you are proxying from a channel that makes sense, because obviously we're assuming we're going away from the model here, so we're making assumptions, so it's important we make reasonable assumptions that we can back up with the client, and it also is important just in general to caveat these assumptions when you are presenting to the client. Alright, so there I've gone and just added in a whole new set of coefficients for oral hygiene. So the next thing really to do is to go through and make sure that every other tab within this input file has data that refers to oral hygiene. So let's go into the current plan. So again, you know, we've assumed that we're getting some TV spend for oral hygiene. So let's just assume that it's going to be the same, just for convenience, as oral care's spend. And again, we're including all the categories here that matched before. So all we need to change here is the media equity channel. Okay, there we go, and I'm just going to highlight that for reference. Let's go across into our CPP tab, and let's again make the assumption that the CPPs and the discount rate matches oral care. So let's go and we'll do that for TV. Let's make it oral hygiene. And usually, actually, I like to just go ahead and just copy that cell, just because it's very easy in Excel to just add extra white space and all of that. So let's just go and make sure we pasted it, and I'll do that again here. Okay, so we've added it to these three orange tabs. The base sales, we don't need to add an extra row here because, as you see, it doesn't have the media equity column. So in other words, we're not adding a new sales segment, we're only adding like a new media channel. So that's nothing to add here. Of course, if your new product line will perhaps map to a new sales segment that you want to capture as distinct from the other product lines, you'll also need to then add different sales segments, in which case you will need to add a different row here. Okay? Perhaps I should, anyway. Okay, let's keep going. FX rate, no media equity, so nothing to add here. Of course, let's go across to the green tabs now. So constraints does have media equity. So let's go and we'll find the TV, all the ones with TV that we're copying over, and let's just make sure we go ahead and copy these again. These are just, of course, things you can change later on, but if you just want to start with some assumptions, these are good ones to start with. Just go and proxy an existing channel, and then go ahead and change. Okay, so again, I'm going to go through, I'll make this oral hygiene. Okay, and doing so, I just noticed that I've got this line with post period copied, so I'm just going to remove that. So obviously we only need to just copy over the ones that have the hygiene. Time periods don't need to touch. Subset, we're not using. Goals, we're not using. Simulating plan, we're not using. So this is an example then of adding a new media channel into the or product line into the optimization. So let me go and save this. Oh, just before I do that, of course, before I run this optimization, let's just go and media equity. So I'm going to just add a title here, and let's just go ahead and save this. Okay, and we'll go ahead now and run this. Sorry, let me just go update modified, choose that, open, let's upload, and run the optimization. Okay, great. So it's run. Let's go through. Obviously, we'll probably have some extra budget because we just added that budget into the plan. But let's go ahead and we'll look at the brand drill down. So we'll see brands, range, and we don't have that level in these charts, but we can go at least into the output file, and we can see that in the charts. And if I go to my media brand summary, so you can see now we have the exacts that we've added in this new media equity into the optimization. We can see the results here. So that's essentially what you would need to do. I might just go ahead and just add one more example here. I just want to, because again, we made that assumption that, you know, this new media equity will map into the same sales segment as another sales, as the oral care. If that wasn't the case, if it did map into a different sales segment, let's go and just make and change that. So let's say we have so if we were to create a new sales segment, let's just say this new product line or hygiene maps to a new Listerine new product. So we can have the same media equity still mapped to these all other product segments. Obviously, there's halo on existing brands and existing products. But here we just, we're assuming that perhaps by introducing this new category, we're opening up a whole new segment. So let's just call it new product. So again, as I mentioned, we need to go through and make sure that where we see these sales segment columns, we update that and make sure there is something to map to. So in the current plan, of course, there is no sales segment. CPP, there's none, but the base sales, there is. So again, let's assume here that potentially there is a new product. So I'll go and just copy that line here. Sorry, and I'll go back into the base sales. So let's just assume perhaps that it's just smaller. It's a new launch, so it's unlikely that it's going to have the exact same base sales as an existing product. Or do you think, yeah. I mean, this is part of making an intelligent assumption. Of course, you can work with us or your brand teams to work that out. Let's just say we're going to, create, say the base sales are half the existing sales here. So we go through and half sales. All right, so now we've added that new sales segment into the base sales tab as well. So let's go ahead and run this one. Okay, well, and again, just before I've done this, I need to update my description. Okay. Let's just go save there. And we'll go into the tool. Choose this guy, load it, and run it. All right. So now we should be able to go into sales summary, and perhaps we don't go down to this level. Unfortunately, we aggregate it up. So again, for this one to take effect, we will again just download the output file. Let's go through and we can look at the summary would be in the in-brand. Keep going. The other way. Shiva's just pointing at me, telling me the other way. Okay. Sub-brand summary. So here we have it. This is now the. So you can see we've got both additional sales from this new product. Yeah, it's opened up a new category and segment. All right, so that should help you guys, add new launches, other product lines, hypotheticals into the tool. Thank you.